Okay, take two. Hopefully this one works better than the last one. I couldn't, somehow my computer just totally froze. So sorry about that. Hopefully those of you on LinkedIn will come back so that I can show you what I wanted to show you. And let me just make sure I can see you guys here on LinkedIn. Okay, there we go. Okay. So let me know if you're here and you can see me again. Sorry for the craziness of this, but live technology, I guess. I guess I should be grateful, Sandy, if you're still watching, that we had such a peaceful week last week doing the live videos compared to some of the other challenges that we ran. Awesome. I'm glad you're here, Sandy. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today is the featured section on LinkedIn. Now, what this featured section is so in your profile, you have the option to add media, and media can be added in your about section. It can also be added in your experience section. And in your experience section and in your about section, there were tiny little boxes. And when you clicked on them, they took you to an interim thing. And then that interim thing, you had to do something, but it wasn't clear what you had to do to actually get to what you wanted to get to. So things like my speaker reel is on there in my experience, and my speaker one sheets and certain podcast episodes. And I love that I have the ability to put them there, but it's like so many steps to actually watch them that it's, not great, but better than not having them, right? So what LinkedIn has recently done is they have recently pulled the media out of the about section and created a section they're calling the experience section. So Beck and Sandy, glad you guys are back. Created a section they're calling the featured section, I'm almost afraid to screen share again because that's when I started to get hosed last time. But I'm going to try it. We'll try one more time. What do you think? And what they did with the featured section was they literally just took the media you had in your about section and they dropped it below it. And now they're calling it a featured section. So let's see if I can screen share easily here. Looks like it's going to work. Hooray. There we go. So you'll see here that under my about section, instead of them being listed as tiny little boxes like they are here, like you see here in the experience section, there are tiny little boxes that go across the bottom. I'm going to let that sit for a minute so it can load. But you see all the tiny little boxes that go across the bottom? That's what it used to look like in the about section. But when they pulled it out, look how gigantic these boxes are. Look how cool this is. So I used to have a bunch because I wanted it to go all the way across the bottom because, aesthetics, and why not add all the media you can? But now I've dropped it to 2 because when I add a third, and I can add a lot more, but when I add a third, it gives me a carousel. Like I'd have an arrow here, and that arrow then is going to it's going to distract you, right? Like I have 2 gigantic things I can ask you to do here. One says apply for a complimentary strategy call. Click that button, apply for a call. And by the way, in the past, when you had those little buttons, I already said it went to an interim thing. Now, when you click apply for a strategy call or to go to my podcast, it takes you straight to the podcast episode. There's no in between section. So it's a great new feature on LinkedIn because it is it's a clickable link that goes right to what you want it to go to. So I am very intentional, yet I'm still testing this. I love this. So this button's going to stay. If I'm going to keeping my podcast here, I'm going to have to recreate the featured image on my website so that it fits better here, right? Because as you can see, it doesn't fit. But I think what I might do is change it to my webinar, to join me for a webinar, and then that's list building for me, right? So again, I'm testing it. I suggest you test it. I suggest you use it, but then I suggest you test it so that you can see what works best for you. I will tell you that since I've moved to this apply for a complimentary strategy call, I get several calls scheduled every week, right? So that didn't happen before from LinkedIn, I promise you. So this new featured section is amazing. Now, there may be a lot of you that don't have this yet because LinkedIn was rolling it out. I think at this point, it's, we're going live. It's April 27th of 2020. I think most people do have it by now. But if you're looking at your profile and you're still seeing the media in here, then know you'll get it at some point. I would love to know Ursula said she has it now. I think she didn't have it before. So that's good news. So absolutely, you want to use this featured section because it is a huge, huge value add to your LinkedIn profile. So check it out. Again, if you want, hang on one second. Let me just come back to you here because you don't need to be looking at this profile the whole time. If you want to join us for, let me just see here. Yeah, if you want to join us for our workshop, you can go to freelinkedinworkshop.com, and that gets you to the workshop. The workshop we're currently running is now a workshop that we're calling Connecting While Disconnected. And it is it really might be one of the best workshops we've done because it's so timely. Now is the time, it's April 2020, so we are still sheltering in place, right? And we are still self-quarantining and all that stuff. So we're not, at least here in New Jersey, we're not out as much. Business has not been reopened, so that whatever that means, right? So it's a great time to be diving into your LinkedIn network. And I teach you step by step how to do this in this live workshop. So check it out at freelinkedinworkshop.com. The next one, we're doing some this week. I might actually redirect that so it goes to the ones that we're doing this week. But depending on when you watch this, it'll go to either one that's upcoming one you can get a recording for, or one that we're doing live. So we're shifting this up a little bit. Again, we're doing a lot of live workshops now because everybody's home and looking for this information. So check it out. You can get into I think if you go right now to Free LinkedIn Workshop, it's going to go to the live one in 2 weeks. If you want to go to the live one right now, go to KarenYankovich.com/masterclass. That'll get you to the one that is tomorrow. So you can go to either of those links to get this information. So I hope that was helpful. It was great to hang out with you guys again this morning. We're going to be doing these Link Up Your Marketing videos every day. You can binge watch them at linkupyourmarketing.com. I will see you all again real soon, tomorrow morning.